All right, I'm recording.
Okay. All right, so let's go over our norms. I'm going to screen share again. And norms are over here.
Remember, y'all are all muted, so if you need to say something, make sure you raise your hand, okay?
Here are our class Zoom norms. These are our rules. So number one, teacher speaks first. So just remember that the teachers are the boss. So whenever we start talking, all of you should not be talking because it can get a little confusing when you have a lot of people on here. Number
And no
two,
more chatting.
yes, also that also goes with chatting. We probably should add that too. I'll add it after class today, but do not chat unless we tell you you can chat. Thumbs up. Show me your thumbs up.
Okay.
All right. Number two, take turns speaking. Since you're all muted, if you need to speak, show me what you should do. Okay, and Miss Copenhaver is going to be monitoring that as I'm teaching because sometimes I get zoned out and I don't really see the hand. So Miss Copenhaver is going to monitor that for us. Also, don't leave the room and stay seated. So if you do need to leave the room, that's totally fine. Just raise your hand and let us know so that we know that where you're going or why you're missing class. If you need to go to the bathroom, that's fine too. Just don't take your phone with you. That would be real gross. I don't want to see you in the bathroom. So if you need to leave the room, raise your hand and make sure you stay seated in front of the camera so we can see your beautiful face. Number four, do not get on any other screens. And that goes along with the chat group as well. For example, if I'm at class, I'm not going to get on TikTok. I'm going to stay on my Zoom class. Number five, Miss Copenhaver's laughing because I am a fan.
Obsessed with TikTok.
I am a fan. I'm a fan. I can't help it. I love it. Number five, wear your hearing devices. This is important because at the end of class today, we're going to be having speech language going on. And we need you guys to be practicing good speech and language as well as wearing your hearing devices.
Does everybody have hearing aids? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Michael Dixon. Okay. Ethan, do you have your hearing aids on?
Marshawn, I can't see your thumb. Can't see it. You gotta show it in front of the screen. There you go. Give us a thumbs up if you have them.
There you go. Okay, we're good.
All right. Any questions about our norms before we get started with math? Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Let's start off with our agenda. Can everybody see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay. Number one, we're going to go over our norms. We have finished that. Then we'll go to our I can statement for today. We'll do a quick fluency activity, and then we'll go into what we're learning. Again, what we're learning is something that we've already learned, but this kind of lines up with what the school district is doing in your packets. If you picked those up last week, they went over equivalent fractions. I think for sure fourth grade did equivalent fractions. So today we'll do that today as our lesson. Then we'll do a quick exit ticket. And then for the last 20 minutes of class, Miss Kelli is going to come on since she did not get to come on Friday. So she'll do a speech language activity for you guys today. Okay, let's go on to our I can statement. Here we are. I can identify whether or not a fraction is equivalent. Equivalent. Look at that word equivalent. Who can tell me what that means? What does equivalent mean?
Perry, Antoine, have their hands up. Michael.
Let's go with Messiah.
Messiah. All right, Messiah, you're unmuted.
Equivalent means it's equal.
It means it's equal. So we're going to be looking at fractions that are equal. They might look different, but they're actually equal. And there's a few different ways that we can prove that they're equivalent. Another way you can remember that, E, Q, U, with the word equal, the first three letters of equal is E, Q, U. So you can remember equal and equivalent. That's one way that helps Miss Hill remember that word. So let's start with our fluency activity. Everybody recognize this like brick chart that we filled out in class? You remember that? Nod your head if you remember that.
Jocelyn saying no.
All right, well, good. We're going to today as our fluency activity. So look at this top box here. Miss Copenhaver, is my cursor like
Yes.
highlighted? Okay, good. Look at this top box here. Which number would go in the top box? Maj.
Hold on, Maj. Let me unmute you. Okay.
1.5.
The top box, right? This whole piece. Which one would go?
1 whole.
One whole. This would be this top box right here. One whole. One whole. And you can draw this on your paper if it'll help you. Sometimes taking notes helps me pay attention if it's a video. Okay, top box is one whole. So I wonder what these next two boxes are going to be. What are these next two boxes going to be? Harry.
Perry. Okay, go ahead, Perry.
1/2.
1/2. So I have 1/2 here, and I have another 1/2 here. So now I can say that 2 halves, 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 2 halves equals 1 whole. All right, now I have 3 boxes. What would go in the 3 boxes? Shakayla! She's here.
Hey, Shakayla.
Here, I'll wait for Shakayla to get connected. Let's see. See Miss Banks.
Can you hear it? You hear it? Put your earphones on. Can you hear it? No, I was just telling me to put the stuff on my face.
I can hear you,
Hey,
Shakayla. I can see
hear me?
Mom.
Mm-hmm. Ask her, can she hear you? Yeah. Ask her. So Miss Hill, can you hear? Ain't this Miss Hill? Mm-hmm. Ask her, can she hear you? Miss Hill, you can hear me?
I can hear you just fine. I'm so glad you made it. All right, Shakayla, we're going over fractions right now. We talked about, can you see my screen, Shakayla?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about 1 whole. We talked about 1/2, 1/2. What should we put in the 3 boxes right here? What do you think, Shakayla? Which fraction? Do you think it will be thirds or do you think it will be fourths?
4.
Let's count. 1, 2, 3. Is it going to be thirds or fourths?
Thirds.
Thirds. Good job, Shakayla. Okay, Miss Copenhaver is going to mute you for right now. If you need to say something, raise your hand, okay? So that we can see you.
Okay.
Sound good?
All right.
All right. So Shakayla said that thirds are going to go here. So let's put our thirds here. So now we can say 1/3, 2/3, 3/3 is equivalent or equal to 1 whole. All right, what are we going to put down here? What do we have left? What do we have left? Show me with your fingers. Fourths. We have fourths left, so let's put those on. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. There we go. We know now that 4/4 is equivalent to 1 whole. But we could also say that 2/4 is equivalent to 1/2 because this box lines up with these 2 boxes. they are the same. They are equivalent. 2/4 and 1/2 are the same because they line up next to each other. Just like 2/2 line up under 1 whole. And we already know that because if we have the same number on top in the numerator and the same number on bottom on the denominator, that means it's always going to equal what? Show me with your fingers. What is it going to equal? If we have the same number in the numerator and the same number on the bottom in the denominator, it's always going to equal, yep, 1. So if I have 2/2, that will equal 1. If I have 5/5, it's going to equal 1. Good.
I think there's some confusion there based on looking at the hands.
Okay, who has a question about that? Any questions?
Okay.
All right, let's move on. We're going to go to our concept development. And I'm going a little fast because I want to make sure Miss Kelly has time. All right. So our first activity that we are going to do is we are going to drag and drop to match the equivalent fractions on the number line. So I don't know if you guys remember my anchor chart that I had in my classroom, but one of the ways that we can show equivalence is using a number line. We could use number lines, we could use fraction bars, we could cross multiply, or the I see Messiah, the butterfly method to show equivalence. Right now we're going to review using a number line to show equivalence. So I will do the first one and then I'll get your help on the next one. So look at the two number lines we have here. We have 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, and 1 whole. And on the bottom, we have thirds. So according to the number line, which fractions are equivalent? So let's look at the blue box. Look at the blue box. Point with your finger on your screen. Where would 1/3 go? Point on your screen where 1/3 would go. Which number line would 1/3 go? If you pointed right here, you are right. It would go right here, 1/3. Okay, if it's equivalent, that means that the other fraction has to line up with it. So we'll start with 1/3, and the next fraction in the blue box, it says equals 2/6. So let's go up and see if we find 2/6. Bingo, we found 2/6. They line up. That means that 1/3 and 2/6 is equivalent. They're equal. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that box over. But look at the red, 2/6 and 1/6. Well, 2/6 is here and 1/6 is here. They are not equal. They are not the same. They're on different parts of the number line. Look at 4/6 and 2/6. 4/6 is here and 2/6 is way over here. They're not lined up. They're not the same. They are not equal. They are not equivalent. So the two fractions that are equivalent are 1/3 and 2/6. Okay, any questions? All right, now I'm going to get you to help me with the next ones. Here's our next problem. We have a number line with tenths and a number line with fifths. So our first blue box is 4/10 equals 3/5. Are those two equivalent? I'm thinking.
Good,
Are those
Marshawn.
two equivalent?
Good, Jose.
So I'm going to give you some think time. I want you to tell me, are they equivalent and why? Why? Okay, who could tell me that? Raise your hand when you think you know the answer. Are they equivalent and why?
Antoine, sit up, buddy.
Let's go with Perry.
All right, Perry.
No, not equivalent.
Why?
Because if you look at 4/10 on the bottom at 2/5, on the bottom it shows 2/5.
Oh, so we look at 4/10 and we look down to see if it lines up We do not find 3/5. We find 2/5. You're right. So the blue box is not equivalent. No way. Okay, everybody look at the red box. 9/10 and 4/5. Are those equivalent? Maj.
Okay.
No, they're not equivalent because if you look at the top, 9/10 is not lined up on the 4/10. On the 4/5.
Right, so I look at 9/10 and I go down and 4/5 is not there. It's way over here. You're right. So the red box is not equivalent. So what about the yellow box? 4/5 and 8/10. I need to hear from a 5th grader. What about David?
Hold on, David. Hold on. Start over.
It has 10, it has and 10, 9 is down, 5 is down.
That's right. It is lined up, David. I heard you say lined up. So we start with 4/5 down here and it lines up with 8/10. So yes, it is equivalent. Very good. Okay, the next one I want you to do on your own. On your paper, I want you to write down what you think, which box is equivalent. And when you get the answer, I want you to type the color in the chat box. Type the color that is equivalent in the chat box. Is it blue?
Do you want
Is it red? Is it yellow?
Do you want to give them some wait time before they type so they don't copy each other?
Yes.
So type it, but don't press enter yet.
And Miss Banks, there's a chat bubble that she can click on if you're using a phone. There's a little, I think it's at the bottom if you're using a phone. And that way it'll pop open on a chat. So is it a blue? Is it a red? Is it yellow? Keep holding your enter. Hold on, don't press enter just yet.
Who is that?
Let's see, I think that's Sam, if I can recognize the home.
Yep, that's Sam. No, wait, I don't see it.
What was that, Michael coming back in?
I think it was Michael coming back in. We lost Messiah.
All right, go ahead and type in your chat room. Type in your chat room, is it blue, red, or yellow?
Type in your answer, Messiah.
Very good. Blue. You are right. It is blue. But I would love to hear from somebody. Why is it blue? Why did we pick the blue box? Let's see. Let's hear from a 5th grader because I haven't heard. Let's see, Marshawn. Why is it the blue box?
Because they line up with each other and that's equal to the equivalent.
They do. They line up with each other. 1/2 equals 3/6, and that means they are equivalent. Very good. Okay, let's do it again. I'm going to give you some think time. And when I tell you it's time, you're going to put it in your chat. Which box is equivalent? The blue, the red, or the yellow? So I'm going to give you some think time, but don't press enter just yet. They're trying to be tricky. They took away some of the fractions on the number line. So kind of if you need to draw out your lines to figure out which numbers go where, that would be important. Okay, you can press enter now once you figured it out.
Ooh, I'm seeing some different answers.
This was a tricky one because they erased some of the fractions. Some people say red, some people say yellow. Okay, so let's go through these answers and figure out what's going on. So checking out the blue box here, the first one is 2/4. Well, I know 2/4 goes there because it says it, 2/4. So let's pretend I put a dot right here. Okay, well, where would 5/8 be? Well, I know 1/8 is here, so let's count over. 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8. So I have 5/8 and 2/4. They are not lined up. So it can't be blue. Blue is not equivalent. All right, let's check red. 6/8. Well, I see 7/8 right here. So I know that 6/8 would be right next to it. All right, where would 3/4 be? 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. 6/8 is up here. Then 3/4 would be right under it. So our red box is equivalent. Now, if you chose yellow, let me talk through that one real fast. So 2/8 would be here, and 2/4 is way over here. So there's no way that those line up. So it has to be the red box. It has to be the red box. Okay, we have 2 more problems. Try this one. Think in your head. If you need to write it down, and then wait to press enter. I will let you know when you can do that. Okay, go ahead and type in your boxes and press enter. Very good, very good. Let's check out yellow. Everybody's saying yellow, yellow, yellow. Let's see. Yellow, 2/3 is here, and 4/6 would be right under it. Very good, guys. I'm so proud of you. Did I write on the screen? How'd that happen? That's interesting. All right, last one. Write it down if you have to.
I don't know how that happened.
I don't know if it wasn't me. I wonder if they have ink access.
I'm looking, but I don't see how they could.
They have annotate. Yep. They have draw. Clear all drawings. There we go. Please do not use the draw on yours. I'm glad they have draw though. That's cool. All right, go ahead and put it in your chat. Which box is equivalent? I think you guys are getting it. Good job. I'm seeing a lot of blue. So let's check out blue. Blue, 4/6 over here. and 8/12 would be right under it. So those two are equivalent. But the red box and the yellow box are not equivalent because they do not line up. Okay. Let's see, I think we have time for one more. Here we are going to fill in the models to create equivalent fractions. So we talked about in the beginning with our fluency activity, if it lines up with the box below it, that means that fraction is equivalent. So let's take a look at the first one. I have 2/3, and here, how would I make these boxes match? How would I make these boxes match? A way that you could do this on your paper, I'm gonna show you on my whiteboard here. You could use the number lines that we use to help.
Nobody can see you.
They should be able to see my screen on the side.
Can y'all see Ms. Hill? Give me a thumbs up.
Or you just see my screen?
Okay, they can see you.
Okay, so I have my whiteboard here, but there's a way that we could do this. You could draw what you see on the board. on the screen. So the first one is 2/3. And remember, whenever we're using fraction bars, we want to make sure we do it using the same size shape because we're going to compare the two fractions. So the top, I have my 2/3, and then I have my 6 on the bottom. Okay, so 2/3 right here. I need to make sure that this section is shaded too because it lines up with the top. So I'm going to shade that real quick. All right, and I'm going to shade it on the screen so you can see it. Right here. So I have 2/3 and 4/6. So my number would be 4/6. So my missing one is 4. These shaded line up. They line up right here. So that means they are equivalent. Let's take a look at the next ones. 4/5. So I have 4/5. So why don't you draw that on your paper? Go ahead and draw 4/5 with the box on your paper. I'll give you some time to do that real quick. Ms. Hill's going to draw it too. I'm going to shade 4/5. Hold up your paper once you have yours drawn. 4/5.
Hold it closer, Masai, so we can see.
Just want to make sure that you guys are drawing the shapes. If you don't have paper, that's fine. You don't have to have it. Just pay attention to the screen.
We've lost Michael.
Let me check my phone to make sure.
I mean, his phone is on, but he is not there.
Maybe he had to step out.
Good, Perry.
Okay.
Good,
now
Ethan, Marshawn.
draw the same size box under it to see what would be your equivalent fraction. And we know there's going to be 10 pieces. So what would be in the numerator? So how many do you think I should shade? How many boxes do you think I should shade over here? Who has an idea?
I see Ethan. I saw Marshawn.
Ethan, how many should I shade?
Go ahead, Ethan.
8.
8. Why should I shade 8?
Because 4 times 2 is equal to 8.
You could do it that way. 4 times 2 equals 8 because going from 5 to 10, 5 times 2 is 10. So 4 times 2 is 8. So very good, Ethan. That's a good way to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and shade 8. So your bottom square should have 8 shaded out of 10. So your fraction will be 8/10. Let's see how many I have right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. So I wish I could take, I wonder if it could. I think that, yeah, I guess I could do that. When I line up my boxes right here under it, they line up. They're equivalent. They are shaded the same amount. They are equivalent. So I'm going to bring that back over here. Okay. So I'm going to bring that over a little bit. So my top number would be 8/10. Very good. Okay, so to give Miss Kelly some time, we're going to go straight to our exit ticket for today. You're going to be typing this in your chat box. Do not press enter until it's time. But you're going to tell me, are these two fractions equivalent? Yes or no? And bonus points if you can tell me why. So yes or no, and if you can tell me why, say because, and then tell me. But don't press enter just yet. All right, go ahead and press enter when you're ready.
Good, Perry.
So I got yes, because they are both lined up and they are the same. Yes, because if you look at them, they are the same. Yes, because some of them are shaded and some are not by the way they're lined up. Yes, because both are the same. Okay. Anybody else?
Marshawn, if you look at your sentence, because they is shaded or they are shaded. Hold on, I'm going to unmute you so that you can answer me. How
They
would, yeah, and then should you have they are shade or they are shaded?
shaded.
There you go.
Yep, because they are shaded.
Sorry, I had to take that
So I
opportunity.
appreciate that. I'm sure Miss Kelly appreciates that too. Make sure we're using good sentences because we are in class. Even though we're typing, make sure that you have a capital letter in the beginning.
Make sure we're not using text language like CUZ,
because.
Maj, good sentence. You're missing your comma though. Don't fix it.
All of you are decided that y'all are going to tell me why, because it really helps me understand that you understand what we learned today.
Ethan, the same thing with you on your shade, y'all. It's not because they are both shade, it's because they're both shaded.
Miss Copenhaver, can you type in what a good sentence would look like for them so we can show them how it needs to be typed? Capital letter, punctuation.
So I said yes because they are both equally shaded. Because I could have 4 on the top shaded and they're still both shaded. But in order for it to be 100% correct, you need to make sure that they're both equally shaded.
Okay, so I have 2 minutes left, and my last question is, what does the word equivalent mean? What does the word equivalent mean? When I'm talking about 2 fractions, what does the word equivalent mean? Type it in your box. What does equivalent mean? Missing a letter, Perry.
Look at what I typed, Perry, to help you with that. Mine says equally, but how could you fix your spelling? Perry? It means, Michael, you're missing your S. If I correct you, don't have to go back and retype it. I'm just helping you with your grammar. There you go, Perry.
Very good, guys. It means equal. You guys are paying attention.
Maj, same with you. It means. Messiah, same with you. Y'all are all forgetting that S on there. It mean equal isn't a correct way to say that. It means, or it is equal.
Michael, you're back on, right?
Yeah, he's on.
Okay, I just got his text. All right, good job today, guys, working on equivalent fractions. I really liked how you participated. Whoever's doing arrows, to stop. I didn't ask you to do that, so whoever's doing arrows, stop. I'm going to hand it over to Miss Kelly. Can you unmute Miss Kelly?
Yes.
And Miss Kelly, do you want them all muted, or do you want
No, quit drawing.
their microphones on?
Let's unmute them, but I can't see them all. So when I give a question, if one of y'all could call on the person, and we could just go in order of how they are on the screen.
Well, the order will change based on when they talk, but we can keep track. I can keep track.
At the top, Kelly, at the top right, there's you can click, it has speaker view, or you could do
gallery
click
view.
on that gallery view, will show everybody.
Where is that?
Top right.
But I'm listening.
Kind of where you would click full
They
screen.
still don't wait, but I'm listening.
Yeah, I don't think I have.
They still hold on. But Miss Kelly on that.
I'm sorry, I don't have that. I just have, like, it only shows 4 at a time across my top, and I have a blue arrow I can click and go to the next few kiddos, but it doesn't show me all of them.
Messiah. We're still in class, baby.
All right,
So
Kelly.
we'll just get started and y'all can just call. So when we're doing this, I want everyone to remember their strategies for good, clear speech. It's really important because it's kind of hard to understand each other on the computer anyway. So you need to really be using your strategies. Perry, can you tell us what your strategies are?
My strategy is to be my mouth full.
And how do you talk? At what rate? Fast or slow?
Slow.
Right, that'll help. So that's Perry's. Does everyone else remember what theirs are? Messiah, what's yours?
Mine was to keep my tongue at the back to do the S's. And
Right.
probably the
S's
R's.
and C's. Okay, so today what we're going to talk about has to do with vocabulary. We're going to talk about opposites. Who can tell me the 5th grade word for opposites? It starts with an A.
Yours.
Raise your hand.
Messiah?
Y'all know this. Yes, you do.
It has the name of a bug at the beginning of the word. Okay, I'm going to tell you, but I'm going to ask you to remember it, so when I ask you at the very end, you'll be able to tell me, okay? Opposites are also called antonyms. Sometimes when you're taking Pen Ready test, it may tell you to identify the antonyms, okay? And that just means opposites. So that's one thing we're going to do is identify the opposites, but you're going to have to listen to the whole sentence and pick the opposites out of the sentence, okay? So it's a little trickier than just telling me the opposite. You're going to have to use your listening skills to get the information. Everybody ready? Thumbs up. Okay, here we go. Let's do an easy one first. The big dog stood next to the tiny cat. Anybody know what those opposites are? Ethan?
I just need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, hurry up.
Okay, Marshawn?
Cats and dogs.
Well, we kind of think
You
of
said-
them like opposites, but they're not really, because an opposite more than likely is not going to be a noun. It's going to be adjectives that describe something. So listen again. The big dog stood next to the tiny cat.
Miss Kelly, is it okay if I
Marshawn?
type that sentence
Big
in
and
the chat?
big.
That'd be great.
Say it again. The big.
Dog stood next to a tiny cat. Yes, Marshawn, go on and say both words.
Big and tiny.
That's perfect. Very good. Okay, here's the next one. The baby's clean clothes got very dirty when she played in the mud. Maj?
Clean, dirty.
Perfect. Ed won and Teresa lost. Carrie?
Won and lost.
Very good. My science teacher is a woman, but our math teacher is a man. Messiah?
Woman and man.
Perfect. The new floor is black and white.
David.
Ethan?
Black and white.
Perfect. The girls went outside, but the boys stayed inside. Michael?
In inside and outside.
Good, and that was good S's. I love that. I'm finally well after being sick for a week. David?
You gotta listen, David, and pay attention.
Listen to the opposites, David. I'm finally well after being sick for a week.
Well, it said.
You're right. Good. The teacher gave me the answer to my question. Jocelyn?
Do I need
to
go ahead,
Jocelyn, do I need to say it again? The teacher gave me the answer to my question.
Answers and question.
Answer and question. Let me hear you say question again.
Question.
Perfect. After you paint the top, turn it over and do the bottom. Antoine?
Top and bottom.
Good. Here's a bonus question for this one. I'm going to read it again. What is the transition phrase in this sentence? All of you who have been doing CWE should be able to get the transition phrase. After you paint the top, turn it over and do the bottom.
A lot of people read it enough to blacklist my drum.
Who did you call on, Kelly?
I didn't.
Okay.
I just, anybody who knows it, raise your hand and we'll call on you.
I don't see any hands. Messiah has her hand.
Okay, Messiah.
Top and bottom.
Well,
Got
those
it.
are the opposites, but we're talking about something else. You know, in CWE, when we've talked about transition phrases, when we're talking about, yes, we have a little phrase, then we put a comma after it at the beginning of a sentence. So it's after you paint the top, comma, that's the transition phrase, okay? There's going to be some more of these with transition phrases, so be ready to answer that question, okay? Put the numbers above the line and the letters below it. Shakayla?
The number below it. Hey, you said that. Below after.
Below is the right one, and what's the other one? I'll read it one more time, Shakayla. Put the numbers above the line and the letters below it.
Below and under.
Below and under mean the same thing. I didn't say under. Listen one more time. Put the numbers above the line and the letters below it.
Below and under.
I didn't say under though. Maude, you want to help her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, help her.
The answer is above and below.
You got 2 10s.
Right, above and below. Those are the opposites, Kayla. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard that word above before?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm glad of that.
Okay.
I didn't see it yesterday.
This is a tricky one. I can almost touch the ceiling when I stand on the floor on my tiptoes. Harry?
Hold on, she's muted for some reason.
Who?
Hold on. Okay, Perry, go ahead.
Okay. So you only have 4.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Messiah, the beginning of the movie was much happier than the end.
Beginning and end.
That's perfect. Put it in the attic or the basement. Jocelyn?
And the basement.
Basement is one of the words. What's the opposite?
Quiet.
Attic. Right. Which one's on top of the house?
Can you say that again?
Uh-huh. Put it in the attic or the basement. Which one is on top of the house?
it.
Very good. Did you see how it went forward and then suddenly went backward? Michael,
Ma'am,
what were the opposites?
the opposite.
Mhm.
Forward, and backward.
Perfect. I just wanted a few. They gave me way too many. Ethan,
Few and many.
what did you say, sweetie?
Few and many.
Perfect. At first, it looked like the boat would float, but then it began to sink. Antoine,
Float and sink.
excellent. The tall tree was next to the short bushes. David? Very good, David. The meeting went from morning to evening. Marshawn?
Morning, even.
Y'all are doing great. I thought these were going to be hard. The nail was crooked, so I got a straight one. Shakayla?
The nail and the crooked.
Okay, one of the nails was crooked. So what kind of nail did I get?
The long one.
The nail was crooked, so I got a straight one. What kind?
The not the
What's your
crooked. The crooked. The nail.
Crooked is right.
The nail.
The who? I don't know. Say it again. The who?
Shakayla, are you listening?
The nail was crooked. Listen one more time, Shakayla. The nail was crooked, so I got a straight one.
The crooked and the straight one.
Perfect. Good job. Now say straight with a good old S at the beginning. Straight. I can't hear you. Say it again.
Straight.
Perfect. Remember, said Sissy, and don't forget your gloves. Marshawn?
Hold on, he's muted. Sorry, go ahead, Marshawn.
Remember, forget.
That's it. Okay, this one's a little bit tricky. You up for it, Maj? I'll give you some of mine if you give me some of yours.
Mine, yours.
Good.
That was Marshawn.
Oh, Marshawn, okay. The jury decides if a person is guilty or innocent. Maj?
Guilty,
Maj?
innocent.
Huh?
Guilty, innocent.
Good. Where do you find a jury, Maj?
A judge.
With the judge, right, in a court.
Messiah.
Bonus question, how many people are on a jury? Anybody know? Raise your hand if you know how many people get picked for the jury.
Joe's?
2.
Not 2.
Ethan?
5.
More than that. It's the same as a dozen. Do you know how many is in a dozen?
Antoine?
12.
12. Yay, Antoine. Okay, we've got 3 more. The stormy weather was followed by calm seas. Antoine?
I muted her.
Antoine, do you know what it is? The stormy weather was followed by calm seas.
Is it weather and calm sea?
What kind of weather was it? I talked about 2 kinds of weather. Stormy weather was followed by calm seas.
Zach, do you remember what song I played?
Is it weather and calm sea?
What kind of weather?
Stormies?
Stormy is one kind, and what was the other kind of weather?
Calm sea?
Calm, right. What kind of weather are we having today? Stormy or calm?
Calm?
Calm, yeah, it's beautiful out there. Okay, Perry, if you lead, I will follow.
Lead and follow.
Good. Okay, here's the last one, and it's a tricky one. My brother likes to spend money more than he wants to save it. Who needs a turn? Who haven't I called on in a while? Michael?
Spend and save.
Perfect. And those were great S's. I love how clear y'all are all talking. And you did a great job listening for that information. When we do this again on Wednesday, instead of opposites, we may listen for synonyms. Who can tell me what synonyms are? Maj?
Can you say it again?
What are synonyms? We just talked about antonyms. What are synonyms?
Synonyms are opposites.
No, those are antonyms.
You're killing me.
Michael?
The same.
Right, they mean the same thing. Like instead of big and tiny, we might say big and large, right? Is that right, Shukayla?
Yes,
Shukayla, you're good at synonyms. You're good at finding the words that mean the same. Okay? Thank y'all for working so hard today.
Yes. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
Don't make Max point me sometimes.
Marshawn.
What did he say?
He's talking to somebody else.
Oh, okay.
So guys, we are going to meet again on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Try to get on Zoom by 12:45 so that we can get everybody in and accounted for. Wednesday we will be doing reading. Also, Miss Kelly will come for the last 20 minutes again and work on speech and language since she did not come on Friday.
All right, I'm going to stop recording and then we'll take our picture.